Today on the Best Cake Recipes, I'm going to be showing you how to make the best homemade chocolate buttercream frosting. If you're used to buying those cans at the store of frosting for your cakes and your brownies and your cookies and your cupcakes, you're going to want to try this easy recipe. It is creamy, it melts in your mouth, it goes perfectly with just about any chocolate dessert you can think of. Let's get started. The first thing you'll do is you'll take 2 sticks of butter. You want the butter to be at room temperature. You don't want it to be too soft. You definitely don't want it to be melty because then your frosting will end up with a weird texture. Just let it sit out at room temperature for a couple of hours and it will be perfect. I'm gonna take a hand mixer. You can use a stand mixer if you'd like, but today I'm using a hand mixer and I'm just gonna whip that butter for a couple of minutes actually, until it's almost white in appearance. I use salted butter for this recipe. The salt just cuts back on the sweetness just a tiny bit, and I'm actually gonna add a little bit more salt also. You can use unsalted butter if you'd like. Just go by taste to see if you need to add a little bit more salt or not. And once that butter is almost white in appearance, we're gonna add the other ingredients. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and then just about half of a teaspoon of salt. If you want to add a little bit less to begin with, you totally can, and then add a touch more later if your frosting seems too sweet. Then I'm gonna put in some powdered sugar. This recipe calls for 3.5 cups of powdered sugar. I'm gonna put in about half of it, and then I'm also going to put in some cocoa powder. This is unsweetened cocoa powder. You can use dark cocoa powder if you'd like. You can use the milk chocolate cocoa powder. Just make sure it is unsweetened because we're adding all of that powdered sugar in. And once it's kind of mixed, I'm going to add a little bit of cream. For this recipe, you'll want about 2 to 4 tablespoons, depending on what you're gonna do with the frosting and how you want it to look, how smooth you want it to be. So I'm gonna add just a little bit right now, and then we can always add more later. I can already tell this is a little bit too thick for what we're gonna do today, so I'm gonna take the rest of the powdered sugar and add that, and with it, a little bit more cream. And then we'll mix that in and see what the texture is like. I'm gonna stop mixing for just a moment and scrape the sides of the bowl just to make sure that butter is all down in there and gets mixed in. I think the amount of cream I put in is correct for frosting a cake. It also holds a swirl, so if you want to pipe some frosting on a cake, this is a great recipe. If you have a stand mixer, this is the time when it really comes in handy because you can just set the stand mixer to go and let it whip until it's nice and fluffy. I'm just still going to use the hand mixer here and beat some more air into it so it's light and fluffy. You'll notice that the more you beat it, the lighter the frosting gets, and that just means it's getting all nice and whipped together so that it tastes delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the frosting off these beaters. And then we'll set that aside and let's get our cake and frost it. Let's serve up a piece of this cake. All right, I'm gonna cut one with extra frosting because I love frosting, especially this chocolate frosting. Just scoop that out and put it right on a plate. Look at that, you guys. Oh my goodness, this milk chocolate buttercream frosting is absolutely amazing. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back often for more cake recipes and frosting recipes, and I hope you have a great day.